All right. Well, thank you all for coming to this session. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the undergraduate research program at the University of Limerick. My name is Wendy Lombardo, and I'm the Associate Director of Institutional Relations at Arcadia Abroad, and work with University of Michigan to bring a variety of programs to you. And this is the one we're going to talk about today. So let me let my colleagues introduce themselves as well.
Hi, I'm Jesse Gwynn, the Associate Dean of STEM. So the person who is I'm a really great resource for all the nitty gritty about the sciencey and engineering things of these programs, and happy to be here today and talk about this program.
Sorry, I couldn't get to the unmute fast enough. My name is Diane Saran. I'm the Assistant Director of IPE and a little bit new to Michigan, but not new to engineering abroad. I'm very excited to be a part of this program. I'll be managing the program, and we are hiring a few more advisors. So if for some reason the program manager changes, that's because there's going to be some new faces in our office. So welcome, and we hope this information session will help you understand the program.
And Ashley, do you want to introduce yourself, even though you're not on our list? Ashley is our new program advisor, so.
Sure, I can. Yes, my name is Ashley Weimer. I'm actually an Arcadia University alumni, and I'm just excited to be here and excited to learn, as I've just started on Monday. So just excited to get to learn from this.
Great. All right. So I'm going to start with just going over quickly our agenda for this session. We're going to talk a little bit about the program overview, go into more details about application and requirements, both from the University of Michigan and from Arcadia, and then a little bit about the Arcadia support, both in the US and abroad, and then open it up to questions that you might have. So without further ado, I will pass it along to Jesse.
Thanks, Wendy. The STEM Summer Research Program at the University of Limerick is basically an experience of 6 weeks of intensive research where you'll earn 6 credits, and through the University of Michigan, it will be come in the form of the ENGR 490 Independent Research course, right? So this is an academic experience where you'll be working under the direction of a mentor to explore hypothesis-driven research. These programs are 6 weeks. That's not a lot of time, right? So there's not a lot of time to get there in country and to create a research question and hypothesis and all that good stuff. So what happens is that we work with faculty coordinators across all of our programs, and Limerick is no different, and where they put out a request for proposals where active research groups on these campuses are chunking out 6-week projects for American undergraduate students just like you to come over and have a great experience with, right? And so that means that you don't have to worry about the research question, you don't have to worry about developing the hypothesis, but there is space for you to make the project a bit more of your own by allowing you the flexibility to branch out into a direction that is germane to the project that you find an interest in. And so they'll work with you to make that happen if you so desire. Now, again, you'll be active as in the research group as a participant, right? So you'll be there with not only the research mentor, the primary investigator, the faculty person, but there'll also be graduate students there. There are postdocs there as well. And one of the neat things about the University of Limerick that we'll talk a bit more about later is that just the nature of where you'll be working and the institute there's a lot of corporate and industry connections there. So they'll have offices there. So they actually use that space to kind of scout a little bit for students to either come back for an internship position, or, the University of Limerick may try to recruit you to come and get a master's there in engineering at some point. Towards the end of the program, not only will you be writing a paper, because that's the main piece that you'll be assessed on, but you'll also have to orally present your work to the faculty, staff, and also your peers before you leave the country. And so I actually do my best to participate in these extra oral presentations. So I'm Skyped in or Zoomed in or whatever the technology is there of the month there. And I actually listen to the presentations and I ask really good questions. So I'm looking forward to that come summer 22. So again, this is, and it is directed research. There's no didactic teaching, as we like to say. So you will be going to research, and research you will, right, while you're there. So you'll be learning things from your research mentor, and also participating in any optional departmental seminars and talks and things that they may be having there at the University of Limerick. And so not only do we want you to go there and be the awesome engineering students that you are with the research, but we also want you to be well-rounded in your experiences, and we want you to get out and about in the country, into the communities and everything, so that you're living there for the 6 weeks and not just staying there. So this is a wonderful picture that brings me a peace, looking at the lush green landscapes of the University of Limerick. So this is a wonderful aerial photo that shows most of the campus there, but it is a really beautiful campus, and it's a very serene place. It's located right there on the west coast of Ireland. So the University of Limerick, again, located on the west coast of Ireland, and it has state-of-the-art teaching and research facilities. So I've been there multiple times myself to kind of get a lay of the land as we developed the partnership and built out this program. It's an independent, internationally focused university. So although during the summer, it's not as many students that will be there on campus, much like the University of Michigan during the summers, but there's still a number of robust folks there from different corners of the world that are doing some really cool things when it comes to research and also taking courses. So it was voted #1 in the world for student experience. And they have many strengths at the University of Limerick, but engineering is what we're all here for, right? But they have really great strengths in materials, advanced manufacturing, software, health, and applied mathematical sciences there. And also the university is home to the Bernal Institute, which is a multidisciplinary team of world-leading material scientists and engineers that also branch out into the biomedical and to the aeronautical and things of that nature as well. But it's a fantastic center there, which just fosters a culture of learning and working across disciplinary foci. So what to expect in country? So again, the University of Limerick is in Limerick, Ireland, which is on the west coast of Ireland. But our Dublin Center, where we have like our facilities and our faculty and staff, are located about a 2.5-hour train ride away. But do not fret. Again, they're quite mobile, and they're going to be coming over to visit you during the summer to provide that level of Arcadia support, as well as you'll have the full array of support that you get from the University of Limerick, which is top-notch, and is one of the many reasons that we have such a great, strong, and wonderful relationship with them, because we both have identical philosophies when it comes to a high level of student support. Right. And so when you get in country, although you'll be probably more than likely you'll be arriving in probably Dublin, and you'll be greeted by our staff that will take you and do a nice orientation about Arcadia, about the country, and all these really cool things, before then guiding you and getting you over to the University of Limerick, where you'll have another orientation for the university, and also some bits of safety things in that nature when you're doing your research there in the engineering facilities. As far as the housing, there are student apartments, and I kid you not, it is voted the best student housing in Ireland is at the University of Limerick. So again, it's a wonderful campus, wonderful pedestrian walkways and things of that nature, but the facilities are top notch, and they are single rooms and single bathrooms there. And there's also some shared communal space when it comes to kitchens and things like that for you to be able to cook if you so desire. The commute is about a 15-minute walk across campus, because again, you'll be right in the heart of it all. So you won't have to worry about taking a train to the center or things like that. The only time you'll have to worry about that is when you want to travel about the city, or if you want to travel about the country by taking the trains to do some exploring there. And again, to get into the city center, it's about 12 minutes by bus. So a very quick bus ride to get you into the center of the city of Limerick. You'll have your free time, which we'll talk a bit more about, but we also provide some really structured excursions, both like day excursions and some weekend excursions that are all optional, but we really have high participation rates by our students, because they find they're a good way to, again, get out and about in the area, in the country, or the region, to see some really cool things and to learn about that space. But then it's also a great way for you to also, interact with other students on different summer programs that are also there at the University of Limerick as well. The price range is there from $25 to $50, but the things that we do put on, sometimes they're included or they're heavily subsidized, so that will foster more participation by students. So what you see before you is our landing page, if you haven't seen it already, for our STEM Summer Research Project list. So this is where we compile all of the projects that we have across the 8 programs that we normally run. So let's say, if, for instance, that you'll see below the 2022 research projects, we have everything grouped by the disciplinary area. So if you were to click on, let's say, one of the engineering subjects here and go on to the next slide, it will then take you to a list showing, let's say, for the civil engineering and the computer engineering projects, where we have all of those located. So you'll not only have the project name as you see on the left, but there's two columns, one for the location where it's located, Limerick, that's the program we're talking about now. But then also a very important column is the one all the way to the right, which states the project status. So where you see open, it means that that project is still open and has space in the research group for students to join. Typically, it's one project per student, but some of the projects will allow 1 or 2 or 3 students onto them, but you'll be working in very different things. So you'll serve as, let's say it's a project with 3 students on it. In a rare occasion, you'll be serving as a mini research group where the 3 of you are looking at different areas within the larger research group. So it's a really cool experience there. This page is updated every day. So what you see on that page is reflective of what's still available or what is no longer available. When things are no longer available, you will see the reserved moniker used there, saying that unfortunately it's at capacity and that we ask you to consider other projects. Clicking on the project titles will then take you to this page, which will give you a nice write-up. So in this case, this is about blockchain and it's used in smart manufacturing. We've all heard about blockchain this, blockchain that, especially with the rise in popularity of cryptocurrencies. And this is a project that deals with that, right? So you'll get the background of the project there, right? So we'll give you like a nice little synopsis there. But then also the background that you need to have, or sometimes you'll see with certain projects what is recommended of you, right? And this little section down there is basically aimed at student success. So we want to make sure that although you may be interested in a project, we want to make sure that you're aligned with student success, that you can be successful in this project and that you have what it takes to be as effective as you can be during the short time that you're in country. There will be projects that don't have anything listed in that section, and that means that this is a really flexible project that will meet you, the student, where you are, and they will then form it around you once you arrive in country. So a day in the life of the researcher is one of the questions that we get asked a lot often. It's like, what is my daily schedule going to look like? What's the day-to-day? And to be honest with you, it varies. It depends on the primary investigator that you'll be working with, along with the type of research that you're working with. So again, that will be sussed out, figured out, probably virtually before you get on ground in Ireland, or once you get there. But typically we tell students that it is very safe to plan for a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday working experience, right? So, and that includes you being in the research group, doing really cool things, building and fabricating materials, and also you in your student apartment, in the university libraries or in the city libraries, working on your research, gathering resources, working on your paper. It all includes that. Because this is an academic program and we award 6 credits for it, it's typically 40 hours per week, generates 1 credit, and that's a system that's been used at many universities, especially here in the United States, when they're giving credit for independent or directed research experiences. And so there's a minimum of 240 hours that you'll be asked to complete to put towards your research product, and it definitely shows in the research paper, your research product, and your oral presentation. But typically, students do not have a problem with that requirement. Typically, students will go a little bit over that because we get really dedicated and diligent students on these programs that are really, really invested in their projects. So that's never really an issue, but we just wanted to put that out there again to let you know the expectations and how we come about awarding the 6 credits for this program. And so this slide that I put here is that we've had some students publish from their 6-week participation in these programs. Now, this is not, to manage expectations, this is not the experience of every student, but these examples just really underscore the level of depth and involvement that all of these projects entail. So these are none of the projects that you see on our website in engineering or outside of engineering or things that have been cooked up out of a box to say, all right, let's put something together for the American students just to keep them busy. No, each project that you see is a 6-week chunked out piece of active research in these research groups. And by you joining the program, you will be not only participating in it and learning great things from it, but you're also helping that research group to move and advance the knowledge and the science and the engineering towards where they want it to be. Our first publication was from a Clemson student that published in the Journal of Nanomedicine. This is from our program down at the University of Queensland, which is unfortunately not running this year. Where she did some really great work there. And our most recent publication that we have is from last year in 2020 from 2 bright young women from Michigan State University who looked at the incidence of male breast cancer there in Scotland. Again, not the experience of every student, but again, this really just drives home the point that whatever project that you select on these programs, it is a real deal project and it has a lot of meaning that you'll be contributing to. And so at this point, I would like to turn it over to Diane, who's going to talk about the really, really important details that you need to know as University of Michigan engineering student about how you can participate in these programs. Diane.
Thank you so much. So a few just important details, and you can find this on the program website, but the program dates are May 22nd through July 7th. The program cost, which we'll talk a little bit more in a couple of minutes about what that includes, is $10,440, and that's billed to your University of Michigan account. That will include the campus housing option, the on-campus apartments that Dr. Gunn mentioned, and so you have a little more information about what those are like. To be eligible for the program, you have to have at least a 2.8 GPA. And you have to be applying during your sophomore year. So you have to, at this point, be in your second year or above, and you have to be in the College of Engineering in good standing. And it's important to note, you do not need to have any foreign language requirements. Next slide. So what do those fees include that I mentioned? All on-site housing and, as mentioned, a meal plan, if that's what you're interested in pursuing. Required health insurance through our GeoBlue partners. You will receive a pre-departure orientation through our office. And as mentioned, you will be gaining credits for your research, which it transfers back to us as 6 US credits for research. You will have an on-site orientation and support from resident staff, as you've heard, and there'll be some amazing social activities and excursions. And it's important to note, though, like on our program website, that not everything is included. So we will have our budget sheets updated soon on our website that includes estimated costs that are not included in the program price, which is your airfare, personal expenses, etc. Next slide. So what do you need to do for our office application? So first, the whole process starts with applying through IPE and mCompass. You will provide your passport copy in our system. And importantly, if you're a US citizen, you need to have a valid US passport that's valid for 1 year after your program end date. So if you do not have a passport yet, or your passport will expire a year from next summer, then you should apply for or renew your passport. We suggest when you apply, you should do it over the break. And if you do need to apply, please expedite the application. It's taking anywhere from 8 to 11 weeks to get a passport if you don't expedite it. You will be you will be answering 2 short essay questions and then providing the personal statement, which we'll talk a little bit more about, that relates to the program requirements through Arcadia, and rank your projects that you're interested in. And you will be signing and reading through some of these other documents within our system, which will allow you to complete your application. As you're working through these, if you have any questions about them, let me know. Our application deadline internally is January 3rd. We're going to nominate students after January 3rd to apply directly to Arcadia. If you're not a US citizen, please check the official website for the destination country to see if you need to apply for a visa. US citizens do not need a visa if they're going for less than 90 days. And just note, IPE does not assist with visa applications. So that'll be something you have to take care of on your own. Once you've been accepted, we suggest you review the budget sheet again for information, and contact the Office of Financial Aid if you have questions about what type of funding you can receive. Sign up for a newsletter on our homepage that we provide a lot of information about programs, maybe extending deadlines, things like that. So please do sign up for our newsletter. If you haven't already come to our Summer Advising 101 session, we highly suggest you do. You can sign up on our advising page, and you can check out our FAQ page. That can answer a lot of questions you might have. And I'm going to turn it over to Wendy, who's going to talk a little more about the application process.
All right, finding the unmute button. Thanks for that, Diane. So I'm going to just talk a little bit about the application requirements on the Arcadia sign. So as Diane said, once you've been nominated by the University of Michigan IPE, you can complete your application through the Arcadia process. So make sure that you understand that there is a University of Michigan application process and an Arcadia process. We want to make sure you get through both of those so that you can get accepted into the program. The Arcadia process will start on our application portal. If you go to our website, there's a button that says apply now. You set up your portal. And once you have chosen the program you're applying to, you will get a checklist of all of the things that you need to do in order to complete the application with us. And the things listed on this sheet, including the official transcript, the study abroad approval letter, an advising call with your program advisor, letter of reference, and this is someone that should be in engineering in the field that you're looking to do your research in, a resume and personal essay, which would include again, the top 3 projects in the rank order. You will apply, or when you apply, you'll put your top 1, and that's what you'll apply to first. If for some reason that one is full or you're not eligible for it, we would move on to the other projects that are available. And even though, so this is a first come, first serve process, you're admitted on a rolling basis. So the key here is to apply early to make sure that you get the project that you want. Our final deadline is not until March, but by then the project choices will be much thinner, and the project that you really want to do will likely be not available at that point. So as Jesse mentioned, if you look on that list, it'll tell you what's open and what's been reserved. So that's a good place to look. So once you've been approved by University of Michigan, it's really important for you to just start that application quickly. And once you've been accepted into a project, you'll have 10 days to confirm your spot. What that means is that you will need to, we have some, a confirmation thing that you signed through us, and there's a $500 deposit that goes with that. That is a non-refundable deposit. So if you do decide later down the road that you don't want to do this for whatever reason, that is a non-refundable deposit. So keep that in mind. We do also have Arcadia scholarships that you can apply to, and those are listed on our website. And once you've been accepted into the program, we will let you know, usually within 2 to 3 weeks, whether or not you've been awarded any sort of scholarship through us as well. And so what do? These are the, we talked a little bit, Jesse's talked a little bit about our staff overseas. So before you go there, however, you'll be working with our staff in Glenside, particularly with Jesse and with Ashley, to talk about pre-departure. So things about housing. While we don't apply for your visa for you, if you need one, we will help you through that process to make sure that you have everything that you need in order to apply for that. We do work with travel agencies, so you're able to travel booking through us if you would like. We have packing tips, talking about airport pickups and health and safety. So you'll have opportunities to talk about all those things before you go, but then once you're in country, you will have access to our staff, 24/7 support. So even though our staff is based in Dublin and you'll be in Limerick, our staff is still going to be available to you 24/7. So you'll have access to them by phone or other ways to, if something should come up, whether it's personal, academic, health related, anything like that. And as we talked about in the past, you will have orientation and other excursions and activities that are available for you to participate in if you choose to. Anything else before we finish up here? Jesse, you had maybe another.
Yes, sure. One of the things too is once you complete your application, I will review everything and I will send it forth to the primary investigator to the project that you've applied for their final approval. And they typically honor my recommendations, but sometimes that window can be short. It can be within the week, or sometimes it can be within a week and a half or 2. And so we let the students know that typically on average about 8 business days is when they can expect to hear a decision back about whether or not you've been approved or not. Typically it is in the affirmative, but we just want students to know that we try to get back to you as quickly as possible because we know that you're trying to plan out your summers and you need to have a decision as quickly as possible. And we're doing everything that we can to make sure that happens within a week and a half window.
So great. So that is what we have. If there's any questions from those that are there, please feel free to either unmute yourself or put those in the chat. And if not, you have our email addresses up there. You're always welcome to contact us with any questions as they come up. Any students in the system, our system, or I'm sure Diane will also send out information when, and if there's any updates or project updates or things like that, you'll have access to that as well.
Sounds great. Thank you all so much for presenting. And if we don't have any last minute questions, we'll be posting this info session. And we again appreciate your time sharing the information. And we look forward to students finishing their applications.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks for, yes, Ashley, you're so welcome. All right, I'm going to stop recording now.